Welcome everybody to Zoned Out League, where we are gonna be having Week 4's game, Cable Gaming versus Future Forge Esports. My name is Hyperactive, and I'm joined by Scavvy. Scavvy, my beautiful soulmate. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm not used to these types of compliments coming from Hyperactive, but yeah, we're doing really good. Best that you could possibly do on a beautiful Saturday night outside, and even more so enthusiastic about this game because we're going to be on Vista, and this is one of our first times, Hyper, you and I have casted Vista, so it's looking pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting that we're going to be doing Vista. It's one of those maps that I'm noticing that it's especially in the CDL where we're seeing it done. 100 Thieves are popping off on it. Might be a little biased because that's the team I follow and support. But both times they're popping off. They're winning that map on hardpoint, and it seems to be one that people are enjoying. But I don't feel it's going to be the one that's going to stay as like the greatest map of this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. It's going to be an interesting one for sure. I mean, I know you're not super excited about Karachi being twice, but there it is for you, Hyper, to get over your fear.
Karachi is one of those, like, as I've explained to you, but not to everyone else. Karachi Search and Destroy, banging map. Absolutely creative because there's so many different lines that you can go in. There's so many different routes, options you can play. But when it comes to then to a control, because of the mass amount of routes, it just, oh no, it's too much, man. Too much. Keep it simplistic, keep it more predictable, and that's more my type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we got two of those Karachis. Hopefully you're able to get over that. And I know you're saying keep it predictable, but it is a map of challenges. And you know what else is? 6-star. I mean, I feel like with these teams that we're gonna see, they all kind of play uniquely in their own ways on 6-star. You can never. It's like sort of a toss-up. I mean, you'll have a team that statistically does better on one map like Vista or Karachi, and then you put them on a map like 6-star, and you see a lot of. I feel like I've seen a lot of upsets happen. So definitely an interesting one to see for sure.
Yeah, I do like the map of 6-star. There's great rotations that can come about it. Of course, again, being a new map like Vista, it's one that we're slowly seeing coming in. As a hard point, I love it. I think it really has a lot of premise and a lot of challenges behind it, especially down to the southern part of the sites where you have really tight points. Two potential money hills, of course, P2, P3, brilliant money hills from there. So again, it's one of those where I think it's great for the CDL.
Yeah, and with that, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of on technical difficulties on my end, so I do apologize for that. But with that, let's get right into the roster for both teams. Starting off with Future Forge Black, you got Smith, Godly, JC, and Echo looking to improve themselves in the Zoned Out Gaming League. They got a lot to prove, and they look like they're looking pretty suited up to do it. I'm actually really excited. I haven't really seen many of these players play as well, so I'm gonna put that fair warning out there. So I'm hoping that these players can go ahead and surprise me. I got to talk to Echo a little bit before the match started, and he seemed pretty excited to take on these team in the Zoned Out Gaming League.
Yeah, and additionally, Echo doing fantastic, in positive KD overall, so that's going to give him a good boost of feeling. 1.4 in general. That when you see that statistic coming in is always a great start to your mentality. You're walking in, feeling strong. So I would be happy in that position. I'm not surprised he's saying he's coming in with a good feeling.
Yeah, and that's precisely right. But let's look at the other side of the roster. Let's look at Cabal. I mean, these are the guys that they're going to have to take out in order to succeed in today's match. Starting off with Fuzon, Vogue, Lycan, and Iowa. It's a team full of good players, to say the least. Again, I don't really know too much about this team as well, other than the fact that I do think it is kind of unique that one of the players' names is named after a state. So a lot to see and a lot to look forward to here in the Zoned Out Gaming League. But yeah, I definitely think, although we unfortunately had a little bit of a cancellation for the Challengers teams later on, Omit and Face Black, I still think that these two teams are perfectly capable of putting on just as much, if not an even better show, especially starting off with our Vista on map 1.
Yeah, and talking about the Cable team, Fuzon going just positive, a 1.0 second. Iowa, 1.4 KD. Man, he is flying at the moment in this tournament. Strong premise, strong position, and I believe his search and destroy is at 2.1. So massive, massive KD behind it. Of course, the rest of the team all in the positives as well. None of them really dropping down, so all equally matched in that sense. But yes, moving into Vista, this is where we're going to see how these teams react against each other as its first point.
Well, enough of us yip-yapping, talking up and down about rosters, maps and modes, and all the technicalities. Let's actually get right into it and see if these teams are able to perform up to the standards that me and Hyper have just put onto them here on Vista Hardpoint.
Yeah, and it's going to be very interesting how they're going to approach it. Of course, P1 being, of course, naturally in the middle of the map by the bar and the desks. And just inside the cafe, actually, is a generalized term of it. But then, of course, you want to be having the south side of the map. That's going to be P2. That's really where the teams are going to look the most. So you can already see a few players like Smith's going down to the bottom, as well as being contested by Voke, as Voke will get eliminated first. So the immediate control already into Cable's favor, even though there's a massive firefighter. Iowa's got 2 on the grenades. Realistically, P1, it's not really a site you try and fight for on the first rotation.
Yeah, I mean, it is sort of just a sight to see how many bodies are going to drop first, is what Hyper and I usually like to say, because that's exactly what it is. Bodies fly, weapons are hot. These players are itching to get onto the point, itching to fire their shots, and itching to get time. And right now, it seems like the team that wants it more is Cable, getting that first 30 seconds of time on point, now leading to probably a 40 if they don't get a break here. And all purple in the feed with Lycan sort of breaking that streak. Cable was on fire to start it off.
Yeah, Future getting the scraps, but again, Future was able to take out Cable and take control of the P2 area. So they have good rotation. They do have players ready to come in, but no one's on point just because the reinforcement's not fully there. Now they're here. The Fusion is going to be the one trying to defend directly on point. Nade going out, not going to hit anybody, but Goodley is going to take out Iowa. So that's going to be interesting, but Goodley, he's going to get Fusion as well.
Yeah, Fusion doesn't really have any kills to start off in today's match, so if you're on the side of Fusion, you're going to need to sort of capitalize and get those kills soon. Getting time is okay, but getting kills sometimes is even more important on the hills like this. But look at Godly going exactly what his name says. Absolute God mode, going 8-3 to start off the map here on Vista. It's looking like now we're seeing Forge start to wake up a little bit as they get the last few seconds of scraps, and Cable is forced to rotate now on to P3.
Yeah, Godly, actually, he's got the cruise missile as well, so that's going to be very, very critical. Only into P2, and we're on to cruise missile territory. Cable are coming in hard, and they've already got that little bit of a lead. They've got that rotation done, and they're fending it off well, as then no one can get past JC as he's holding down the fort in the bar stairs.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big hold if you're on the side of Cable. You want to make sure that you keep that lead and you keep it well. And so far, Godly's doing just that. He hasn't really went down in his KD since the last time we saw him. Still absolutely popping off, and he's just doing the works, putting the works on the side of Future and ultimately gunning them off points. Here comes Voke catching another player off on rotation.
What is helping as well, Cable's got the spawn side as well, so they're going to be able to rotate right into P4, and it will be very interesting. I don't think Voke was expecting Smith to really come out of nowhere and get the kill, but finally Smith taken out. So P4 up for contention. Scraps will be fought a little bit, but now the new point open. It's now in Forge's favor, as finally they can add some points to their tally.
Yeah, there's some more crucial points now from the side of Forge. They kind of had it slipping away from them for quite some time now into P3. Cable almost got to that 100-point mark, but now with a hold like this, Iowa and Fusa setting up camp. Lycan with the assist on the side. That's going to be 3 off from the side of Cable. Now make it 4. There's going to be some crucial time here captured by the side of Future, and it might be enough just to put him in the lead.
Voke doing a seriously early rotation here, but what he's also trying to do is pick off any of the people coming from that right side. They want to flip the spawns early, and that's exactly what they're doing. Have they successfully done it? That's going to be the question, because you still have, of course, Fusion on point, picking up the scraps here. But it's going to be all down to that lonely man of Voke. Voke still keeping himself alive, keeping himself in play, but he will fall eventually.
Take a look at Cable's setup onto the next hard point. They're looking pretty good, pretty evenly distributed around, but Future Forge is also spreading out all over the place. It's the map's right now looking like an ant farm, with all players going all separate directions, not knowing where to go and bumping into each other from time to time. But ultimately, it's going to be on the side of Cable. It's going to get themselves some crucial control to start off here under Bridge. Echo getting some crucial time right now, and trades are going to go through. Yeah, it's going to be a great hold right now for Cable.
Well, Echo getting that beams down, holding the point tight, but he will just fall to Laken, and Laken is going to say thank you very much. And there's a second who walks directly into the pathway. Future Forge able to get the point. It's all tied at the moment on the scoreboard, so nobody really giving it away. Both sides rotating well, both sides breaking each other well, so it's almost even. It's a case of who can get there first and get the whole team to reinforce, because there's a few stragglers that will get the initial point, but then it gets taken away, and still it is even bearing. We rotate for the second time.
As we've seen a full rotation now here on B, so a full 5 rotations. Now we're back to P1. It almost looks like we're back to the start, as both teams are now pretty much even right now in the points, but that's going to be Future Forge ultimately starting to slowly drift away from Cable as they get some crucial time, crucial kills, and Loke's not going to help either. There's some kills coming in from Iowa.
Yeah, Future Forge have this nicely locked down. They've realized the spawns are coming south, so they will look in only one direction. And this is gonna be good, because they've also got a nice position for P2 as well, as they've put themselves in a prime position, prepped and ready, but they are losing one player. Laken will fall, and it's down to Voke to try and keep himself alive. Iowa coming in for the reinforcement. He will fall, so it's down to Voke. Is just hiding in the distance, but Lincoln coming back. But Echo still pushing through, and he's got the point.
Yeah, it's going to take a little more than this point, though, for Cable to, well, actually, a nearly full hold on the side of Cable for them to catch up. Future Forge got nearly a full 60 on P1, so Cable, you got to play a game of catch-up here, and right now it's not looking too good. It's not working. Cable's got to sit back, regroup, refocus, and re-strategize on how they're going to make this break, because right now, Hyper, it's now or never for Cable.
Yeah, they've got to put some big numbers in on this site. Otherwise, they'll be taking the 200. But here comes the invested cruise missile, and that's going to be from Godly. Is it going to take anyone out? No, but that's good information. They have knowledge, and they will try and contest. And once again, the Renetti not doing the job, and JC will get the kill. And finally, some points into Cable's favor. But they should be starting to rotating. 10 seconds left on the clock, and they need to get to Art in P3.
Yeah, I mean, the unfortunate reality of that, though, was that Cable had a great setup there on P3. I mean, Echo was there, ready to go, ready to shine, ready for his moment, and then he just gets completely obliterated. So it's a really unfortunate reality on the side of Cable, because you're really thinking that should have been more than just the last few seconds of scraps, but nevertheless, they're still fighting back, they're still pushing forward, but it's all red in the feed right now on the side of Future Forge, and they got a setup now on P4.
Yeah, they have put that and locked it down. Great lines. That what they're doing, keeping their position to the right-hand side and to the central part of the map to try and cut off the early push. And that's exactly what Iowa is doing, in a prime position to catch people out. But I think it's going to get killed from the back. Yeah, that's Echo doing the job indeed. And once again, we're in 200 points. Future Forge, they're looking into the future and they're seeing victory, but it's still a little way to go, and there could be a dream that Cable is looking for, but they've got to do something on this next rotation.
It's going to be near flawlessness if you're on the side of Cable from here on out, but right now, Future Forge not only had crucial time on that hard point, but they also have a setup right off the bat. It's not that quite often where you see that, where you got 2 players on point and 2 players at a golden position for a setup, so that's ultimately going to lead to Future Forge taking home this map.
Yeah, it's looking dominant, it's looking done. Few seconds left to get the points. Future Forge will take map 1, and they found it in the second rotation. They just found the rhythm, found the ride. They call the bobsleigh because it's a bobsleigh time.
Yeah, I mean, it's an unfortunate loss if You're on the side of Cable. You thought you had some prospects on the other side, especially to start off with that full rotation where things were looking to be pretty even, but nevertheless, Future Forward is going to persist, and that's going to be map number 1.
Yeah, I tell you what. You look at the KD ratio. Of course, Future Forward all in the positives. But let's be real, Cable. I feel what we saw, you know, first half was really what they were made of. I for sure would say that that's the kind of play they were going for. They were, you know, getting the good rotations. They were able to hold their points a lot better. But when it came to the second half, it felt like there was a lot more one-on-one engagements. But because they're going one-on-one with no team backing, then Future Forge had that man advantage, and that's why Cable was losing out quite a bit.
Yeah, that's precisely right. As we go into Karachi now, search and destroy.
Yeah, Karachi, quite a nice map. I'm not going to lie, for search and destroy only, before anyone turns around and quotes that I hate Karachi for everything else. As I said, I'm not a fan for hardpoint. I'm not a fan for control. But as I said, for search and destroy, Karachi has something in my heart that goes, you know what, I'll let it slide. I don't know if that's just because I like search and destroy in general, and most maps are pretty good.
Yeah, that is precisely right. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break for the time being, fix some technical difficulties, but when we come back, we'll have Karachi search and destroy.
It's ready for P2. They're not even going to really attempt P1.
As I was saying earlier, a lot of teams won't. I mean, they'll look at the time and be like, oh, 25 seconds, time to rotate to P2, the money hill. And right now, Prezi is doing just that. You really got to be careful, Prezi. You're the only one on hill. Aside from aces, you peek, you lose the time. We do understand that there is a team name switch, and that's sort of what we were trying to fix in the break, but map already started. We're in the map, so we're going to do the best we can to bring this action to you guys first, because we do know that while the team names are going to be switched, unfortunately, we don't want anyone to miss out on the action. So we're going to be on search and destroy now on Karachi, and it looks like that first round would be to Cable, excuse me, but it's on the side of Future Forge. So, Hyper, what are some things that you think have stood out to you here on search and destroy?
Well, I was kind of busy trying to fix out what were your technical difficulties. So realistically, both of us weren't really watching first round. So let's take this as a fresh start in my eyes. Let's go in this with a fresh pair of eyes, as immediately Iowa is going to be pushing onto that A site, trying to get that bomb down nice and fast. Rush, they say rush A, but Godly, well, he just turned around and said, no, I'm just going to push straight in and take down 2.
Yeah, it's going to be a 2-piece now, and another win on the side of Cable, now showing as Future Forge. It's looking pretty promising to start off. I mean, they've basically just been 1, 2, 3 rounds. We didn't really miss that much of the first round. The first round just started, and it started so quickly that, I mean, that was it. All wiped off point, and that was completely it.
That was nicely done. I think that was just a poor timing, you know, that walked into a trap where everyone's there. There's not much you can do when you do something like that, you know. That is a case of why you don't rush. You take your time, try and work out where everyone is, because you just get caught off point immediately. But nonetheless, JC with the bomb going to go down to the B site. There looks to be a big pressure by Forge, as there's going to be one. Godly just is a god and gets away with his life, and that smoke might have just saved him as well.
Yeah, in the smoke here, are they going to be ballsy enough to go through? And yes, they are. JC is going to be picked off, caught lacking by Lycon, and that's going to be bombed down on the right side. He's not going to be able to see who's lying on the other side by Chicken Coops. No, he's not. The inconvenient timing, the COD timing gets the best of him, and that's going to be the life the life that's going to even the playing field now for both teams. Now, Smoth, he's got the bomb, but he's also got some bravery with him too, hitting some shots, and likely going to be planting here at B.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of time, a little bit of opening, but it's going to be Godly. Has he spotted players? He's got one. That's going to be Fusion. And now it's down to a 2v1. Iowa left to try and defuse this bomb. And it's going to be down to 1v1 engagement. And that's going to be nice. Iowa in the true 1v1 against Smooth, and it's gonna be interesting because you can see where he's positioned himself right out the way and quite far away as well. So this is gonna be a really good deep search that he has to do. Come closer to the time being down to 7 seconds. We're gonna see a move, but no, there's gonna be no attempt to defuse because Iowa doesn't know where the bomb is, has to sacrifice it entirely, and just says, you know what, no, I'm not even gonna attempt this.
Yeah, it looks like Iowa just, well, I guess it was in vain. At that point, if you're going to get killed seconds after the bomb is destroyed, your probably best bet was to just hop it anyway. But I think Iowa was just trying not to feed Smoth a kill there and allow him to improve to 4-2, but he does anyway. He was trying to scope him out for quite some time. He didn't want to be caught on the defuse, and it just didn't work anyway. So it's going to be another round win for the side of Smoth. Well, actually, the first win for Smoth's team. Looking pretty promising now. I really also love, Hyper, when teams practice persistence and patience at the same time. It's something that I really think is quite often overlooked in competitive COD, and I'd love to see teams sort of show their maturity by practicing it all the time.
Yeah, and especially in a game like this, trigger discipline is critical. But just to note, a player has disconnected. I believe, I'm trying to remember the whole entire list. That's one player gone on the side of Future Forge, well, showing Cabal, but Future Forge. So it's going to be a 3v4, and they might call for a lobby reset here. Nonetheless, they are going to keep going for now.
Yeah, that's going to be Godly. That's going to be Godly on the side of Future. That's going to be DC. So I'm thinking what's probably going to happen here is, number one, it's on, whoa, look at this. In the bottom left corner, it's like a game of cat and mouse. They're being chased around the map from Smoth, but Iowa turns on him completely. That's going to be a map win, but yeah, I think they're just going to restart the map here as is. So 1-3, 3 being on the side of Cabal and 1 being on the side of Future Forge. I'm actually a little surprised if they don't actually end the game here, but
They most likely will. They most likely will. They've got to recognize there is 3. They're probably putting it in the chat and calling it out because a 3v4 off the get-go is clearly unfair. We'll have a brief moment. They will call it.
No, it doesn't look like they are.
No one's calling it.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised at what we're seeing right now, but maybe they made a little bit of a preemptive agreement that if this were to happen, they wouldn't restart. I'm not sure. I don't know, but. I mean, it just looks like Cabal is just sort of playing with their lives here and just sitting back and just playing for picks. That's the only thing you really can do in that situation. But okay, so there's the host ending the game, Hyper. We can rest easy now, and we can finally go back to the lobby and fix these darn team names. Oh my.
Absolutely. So just stay tuned. We will be back, and we'll get the lobby back up and running again.
Thanks for bearing with us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be going to an intermission, and we'll be right back.
Is gonna come in. Briz is gonna find 2, but Prezi is still there. He's alive, but the point's been taken away, and Prodigy now have control.
Beautiful anchor on spawns here from Sempi, so that was gonna force Vice to spawn only on the left side of the map.
Clock ticking down. We're into last 12 seconds. Clock has been paused twice, able to get some good kills. Now lives are in their favor. They need to anchor this point. They can't pull off. So when they die, they've got to rotate quickly. That chair's coming in handy, but pinched in the corner. But can they keep themselves alive? No, they've just got killed, and this looks to be Paul Purple's game. It's gonna be a rush for Vice. Can Vice get on point, or can they wipe out? There's 3 left. There's a cruise coming in. Is it enough? It's not. It's gonna be Paul's Purple's map.
Looked like for the moment there, Remorse had a pretty good setup onto the new hard point, but Pogo just kind of came in and won the gunfights anyway. Nevertheless, here comes a cruise missile from Cal, hoping to even the playing field out and get themselves back to the game. It's not going to hit. Pogo is going to sort of celebrate a little bit there with the waste of the cruise missile, but a gain of intelligence on the side of Remorse doesn't matter. 2 kills go sides. One from being traded out by Matt. So again, from the help of Matt and Slicks, Kobo doing exceedingly well right now on 6-star. So we got the names fixed on both sides, search and destroy, but not enough time to get that score fixed. So it is going to be 1-0 on Cabal. And we're going to be on search and destroy.
And 1-3. 1-3 for the game as well. Of which I think they are... If that was a genuine elimination, I'm not sure. I wasn't fully watching. Because what we're going to try and do is try and get things back to the way it was. No, they were genuinely fighting. So we do apologize. We're trying to get things back to the way it was, but I feel they are going to continue the game the way it is, continue playing at now a 4-1 game. So the scores, as we mentioned, is going to be kind of like irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean, they are, but great start from Fusion to start things off, to kick things off of what has been so far a really weird series, going 2-0 on the side of Cabal.
It's definitely been a weird series, especially this one. It's been an interesting game, but nonetheless, Bomb is going quite aggressively past this site, but able to keep alive. Lincoln playing aggressive, and the whole of Cabal is being aggressive right now, but they're finding themselves in great positions. Echo unable to get the tag, as he will be able to keep his life, but Lincoln will get Echo eventually, and so will Vogue. We'll get JC as it becomes a 3v1 down to Smooth to somehow claim the round for himself.
He's going to go ahead and get the plant down in a 3v1 situation. Smoth, you've done some pretty fun things so far not 2 moments ago before the map reset on Karachi. Got some crucial kills. See if you can do it again. If it would be then, it'd be now, but it's not going to happen.
This
Cabal
is
gonna win.
Dominating.
Yeah.
It's dominating. It's 5-1 if in the correct scoring. As I said, we're gonna have to make sure they do honor the fact it is 5-1. So match point for Cabal. We need to get like a little sticker and put it on top of the numbers right now.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could just kind of take one and put it on my monitor right now, but that's just unfortunately not what we can do. So we're gonna have to go back to 6th grade for a little bit and do some quick math onto the screen for the series and the match score. But you know, Future, you're gonna need to really change some things up here. And right now, it looks like it's what they're gonna be doing as they kind of coordinate themselves in a push. So far, it's not too bad of a push. Obviously, intel's gonna be given on the side of Cabal, because nades aren't going to hit on A. Shots are going to be fired. Even 3v3 situation.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of information. I think immediately you could see the way Cabal just moved down south, go to that B site, saw no aggression, no one kind of really popping through. And what did they immediately do? They went towards to A. They only had one person up there. The correct move to do. Cabal getting 2, and this might be the end of the game because it's down to Smooth again to try and clutch. But he has Bomb over his body, so he knows where it is, and that means that he can hold this very strong defensive line. If you played any form of Search Destroy or even Counter-Strike, because that's a nice slower game, they will have to now push to him, which is always an advantage even with a man down.
Yeah, so Cabal is gonna get that information on the intel. He's gonna be immediately taken down. Smoth, I mean, a good attempt. There's not much else you can do on a team that's warmed up and fired up like Cabal. That's gonna be if they honor the score from last map reset, it's gonna be a win on the side of Cabal.
Yep, it said it should be a 6-1 scenario for Cabal, and that is going to be map 2 to them as well. So a very strong start and a very well played game. There it is, and that's a clear demonstration and honor of the system. So going into the next map, like really, there's not a quick, actually brief talk about this one. It's a little bit messy, a little bit kind of, we were a bit disorientated with a mixture of things, so we do apologize that we weren't able to analyze that as well. But I feel the necessary aggression from Future was what didn't work.
No, I mean, I don't know. It kind of just seemed like they started to give up a little bit at the end there, especially just given the fact that the series had a map restart. They were already getting gunned down. I mean, Smoth was doing what he could, sort of being the last one alive pretty frequently, but again, it just wasn't enough on the side of Futural. So that's just going to be it. That's going to be the map.
Yep, and and what we're going to do is actually going to go straight into control as, again, the teams aren't listening. They just want they want it done. That's all they want to do is just
yeah,
get
they
this
want it
game
done.
rolling.
They don't have time for producers to set things up and make them look good. They're just going to go straight into maps before we can even blink. So here we are now back on the Karachi. It's going to be a control between the two teams. We've seen them get tested in search and destroy. Now let's see them get tested in control now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting as I've just been told off for bad words in the chat. Discord's not liking me for that. But nonetheless, I believe we are still have the correct signage. So we're on for a good start, and immediately Future Forge is going to get their initial quick push onto A. They're going to go fast, hard, try and get those kills as well. So that's going in favor, and they're going to take this tick very quickly and most likely take A completely on its entirety.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it was just a 1-2-3. They jumped on point, made it look like a pubs match, and there goes the time. Now they're going to have to coordinate themselves towards B. This is Cabal's chance here to get something going and get something going quick, but they are able to get a successful break and put a stop to the force that was coming from Echo and JC.
Yeah, but now they have to really work their way around this. You can see how far forward Future Forge is. They are right into their business. As you could see, Echo tried to go around to the back of P2, unsuccessful as the dumpster position is always covered for some reason. And finally, Cabal has broken that line very nicely, and it now creates this problem. Future Forge now have to push back into the B site to try and find some progression. At the moment, all even on live, so they still have players to throw away.
Yeah, things are starting to settle down here at a pretty neutral. The 22-21 life advantage. Smoth trying to make a break here. He's not able to. Gets quickly spotted out. Comms are going to go through, and there he goes off of top AC. But here comes Godly from Cubby there, waiting for his opportunity to seize it. He does. Now JC's going to run in like a madman to get cover after he was red screened. This might be the opportunity that Forge is looking for to get themselves ahead in this round.
Yeah, and they've pinned them down quite nicely. There's only one player out of position, but they're all going to come over Dumpster. This is the dream situation, because they're all going to come Dumpster, and this is going to be nice and quick for Future Forward, and that's what we were expecting when we first saw them on map 1.
It was looking pretty good. Great start. It had a little bit of a hiccup. A little bit of a slowdown there mid-map. I honestly, I wouldn't even say a hiccup. Things just started to slow down and look like normal Call of Duty for quite some time. Trades going through on both sides, kills being done, but comms going through. But nevertheless, Forge was able to break through the wall that Cabal had made against them from capturing B. They did it well. They, waited for their opportunity, seized the moment, and ultimately took home round number 1.
Well, going into round 2, of course, roles are reversed. Cabal are going to be attacking Forge, Future Forge, defending, and Cabal deciding to only stick one man on there. So going for the slower attempt, go for more map control rather than just getting point control. And luckily Lincoln will keep himself alive. He's got one more player. No, they just lost a bit of possession and they weren't able to get that first pick as well. So brilliant work from Future Forge to deny the initial push.
Yeah, the initial push is going to be denied, but there's still going to be Vogue on time, fighting for his life, playing his life right now as he shoots into Secret. He's able to pick up, he's got to reload. Here comes the Renetti. It's not enough, so that's going to be some time erased, but there was some time gain. That's one tick for the side of Cabal. Let's see if they're going to go ahead and coordinate themselves a B push, but it looks like as of right now, they're going to focus on A and see what they can do to at least gain back some of that momentum.
They've been spawned down south as well, so realistically, A is the only way they can go. And look what they're going to do as well. Echo's pushed right into their spawn. The spawn trap is about to come in play. Echo's taken one life. He's going to spin around, and he's most likely going to try and find more as well, because he was in a great position and just disrupted. But somehow, Cabal is able to find themselves a good push into B, because Future Forge were focusing on the spawn trap and for everything around A.
Yeah, right now, Lycan tried doing something to sort of distract Future, and he's immediately shot down. Looks like now all of Cabal is going to finish off B, or at least attempt at trying to make something going on at B, as we're trying to stretch out Future Forge and it just wasn't able to. I mean, every single time they get on point, it's a matter of seconds, and then they're just completely obliterated now. Future You're up 20 in the lives. You got no ticks or no completions on any of the points, and 20 seconds left. Cabal, you got to do something. You got to do something quick.
Yeah, they've got to do something quick right now, as they will finally get first point done. So brilliant work. They now have more time to play with. Now, of course, Future Forge know exactly where the push is going to be. They're going to start setting themselves up around A, which is exactly what Smooth and Godly is doing in its entirety. But they want to try and make it hard. They want to try and push themselves a bit further forward, trap them in spawn. But I tell you what they are doing. They're trying to herd them into one area for a possible firing line, as Godly will pick up one. So that's going to be successful, but Fusion will get two. Smooth will get the third. And it's looking to be a slaughter, as they did fend off Cabal.
Well, here comes Lycan now getting some progress on. Very unlucky with that kill onto, he was trying to get a kill onto bottom red, but he just wasn't able to. They just barely escaped, and his teammate got slaughtered out as a result. But there's a kill for him, and here comes two of Cabal on point. But now Godly's the last one alive to make a play. He's not able to do it, so it looks like it's gonna be a cap on B to end the round. From the unlikelihood of Cabal getting absolutely slaughtered the entire match, they just sort of squeaked by with that one.
Very well done. It was they took the advantage of a lack of players, got the clear out in the mid side of the map, a quick rotate up to the top, and then just held the point nicely. That's exactly what you need to do. They played it perfectly, and in a short space of time where they were looking they were in defeat, they came back, took point, and took it with control.
Yeah, I mean, now we're seeing a little more of an even matchup between the two teams. I think this is Future Forge's game mode evident from round one, but then Cabal kind of comes back and fires back harder, squeaking by just barely with that round. So here we go, back to the basics, back to the offensive if you're on Future. That's going to be a crucial gunfight here, won by Godly. He's going positive. He's always been going positive from what I've been seeing in this series, and he's just a crucial asset on the side of Future. There goes two ticks, and likely here comes the third in just a few seconds.
Yeah, I think Cabal might look to maybe put one player for a disruption, but no, you can mainly see they're setting themselves up ready for any engagements that come through. And they have positioned themselves quite nicely as well. As you can see, a couple of purples in the feed, making it just that little bit harder for Future Forward to get through, as JC thought, oh, the coast was clear. No, it was definitely not, as Lincoln will get that kill, and Fusion as well, also denying any form of rotation. And this is looking stronger from a defense on Cabal's side, but this has been a very attacking sided map when you look at kind of like the general data we bring in.
Yeah, it is very much so an attacking, constant aggression, and a lot of pressure that you're going to see from the defensive team putting onto the offensive. So it's sort of just weapons being hot and you're hitting your shots. That's going to get you a map win. But here's Vogue trying to creep around into the back of Future Forge's red, but it's just not going to be enough. So Godly's going to do the same in return. Hyper, I don't even know if he saw him spawn, but that is insanity. I don't think I've ever seen something like that. But Future Forward nevertheless is able to bounce back with it anyway, get 4 off, and get some time hopefully on B.
Well, no, they just got wiped. They got completely wiped. Cabal moved fast. Of course, the only route they knew was Dumpster to get there quickly, but they were able to fend it off. But Godly back on point, so he's be able to be the savior. No, Lord of Jesus Christ has just fallen, and now it's going to be a case that there is one on point. It's only Echo, so he's slowly capping this. So there's going to be some good point time, but they're super close to the spawn, so that's why he's going to fall quickly. And Cabal's now got control once again.
Yeah, Cabal now Lycan starting to wake up himself. Gets that trophy down, putting some pressure on the side of Future. Now Future just waiting for that opportunity to strike, and that's Moths. That's one. But now he's the only one left. Cabal's eliminated the entire team of Forge. But he might be able to do it on his own. No, he's not. Shot off points, but it's just enough time for Future to make one last push for the round.
Yeah, that just slight delay was helpful enough. He will spawn in. He'll be at the back, so he'll be the last point. But there's only 4 lives left. And Godly, that's a free kill, an easy kill indeed. Starts to get on point. 20 seconds left. It's either lives or they get capped this point.
Ooh.
Godly still going as he's now looking over Dumpster. It's going to be a great situation. And it's going to be a fast cap. 3 people on site, but there's still lives on the side of Cabal. They're going to try and push over, but it's going to be feed after feed after feed. And it's going to be progressed, and it will be Future Forward's point.
They were in the blender. They were able to do it within the last 20 seconds of the round. I know, Hyper, you're not a huge fan of Karachi, but sometimes it's these moments on B where one team's in the blender, the other is just spraying and praying to get that last bit of time with the handful of lives they have left that really bring the excitement to competitive COD. That's going to be Future Forge's round win. You'll love to see a scenario where it looks like they're done. It looks like it's going to be a round loss, but just at the end of it, Future Forge was able to mirror Cabal's round 1 win with their round 2 win.
Yeah, it was lovely work from Future Forge, and I'm not disappointed. And yes, I do not like Karachi, but when you do see things like that, I will give it to you indeed. I'll definitely give it to you. Karachi does come up with some great gameplay. Taking account we've done so much Karachi, it's kind of like become a point of I'm numb. I'm numb to the map, but it's going to be advantage Cabal. They have got 2 ticks on point. They're still going slowly with 2 people down to 1 on point. Still ticking away, but it looks to be the Future Forward. Might be the disruption, but they're also going to try and attack B as well. They're doing a split strategy.
Yeah, Voke's just kind of sitting like onto the point, sitting in the contest. JC, I don't think has any idea where he is right now. He's trying to figure out where he is, and here's Voke just kind of sitting there, maybe humming him a couple of songs, you know, singing to himself, you know, taking some time there in the process. I mean, it's not too bad. The Future has no idea where he is right now, but they're about to in just a second as he gets shot out from the door. My goodness, that was Future Forge saying enough is enough. Get out of that point.
Yeah, they're very much a case of they knew that the whole of the cafe was clear, so where could he be? Probably on top on Cubby. So great game sense, great understanding of the game, and that's why that worked. But you can see Fusion trying to now fight within Cubby once again. People like this Cubby area. It might be a very dangerous spot indeed, as he's going to wall bang through. He gets a little tag, so he knows he's going to rotate round. Got the close work with the rival 9 up, but it does not work. Still, 2 ticks have been done. There is only 1 tick left, and it's gonna be close and down to the wire. And with 2 lives down, Cabal have got a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, I mean, you got 2 minutes left. 2 whole minutes. So you're on the side of Future Forge. You're not gonna wanna push those engagements as frequently as Cabal is to get those lives down. They're down in the lives by 2, but despite, I mean, no matter what, you're still gonna play pretty slowly.
Are you sure?
And you're gonna get on point. That's what you're gonna do.
You're sure?
You're gonna play slowly and you're gonna get on point. Listen, Hyper. It's been a wild day for me. Okay, cut me some slack here. Okay, I mean,
I'll never cut you that much.
I'm not
slack
surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. That's all I'm gonna say.
I do hear what you're saying. I do agree with the 2 minutes on the clock and the lives being quite low. Yes, you do have the option to take your time. Of course, the nature of Call of Duty, you are gonna go in faster. But when you have a gap like that, Cabal are not gonna turn around and say no to it. So they're gonna take advantage. And because of that, they're also now going to have the attacking round, which statistically in this game mode and this map is the favored side because you win so often on it. So advantage to Cabal. They're going to hopefully try and pull off the same story, but it's not going to be easy because you know Future Forward are just going to step it up, and immediately 3 people on point. First tick done, and the second tick as well. This looks to be a very fast cap.
Yeah, it is going to be a very fast cap, but not if Godly has anything to say with it. That's going to be 1 for him, but he's not able to get the second. Here comes Vogue finishing the job, getting that time really fast. There's 2 minutes and 19 seconds left, but on the other side is Future Forge to quickly put an end to that killing spree Vogue was on. It's a good choice by JC here to check his spawns, because I can tell, yeah, he knows that there's going to be someone from the side of Cabal coming in pretty fast. So that engagement was huge to be won, but Fuson wins it anyway. Now back to B. Here comes Godly, sort of sitting back, rotating himself towards Cubby. Not all hope is lost. You're down in the lives. but you just got to make sure that you hold your positions and you get your kills, and then you'll be back in the game.
Yeah, Future Forge have really locked this down. They've got themselves in a great position to hold them back. They are going to lose one to Fusion, as Fusion is again still lurking around the back, so that's going to be a pain in the neck, and it's shown clearly in the lives advantage. Fusion still on a streak now. I'm sure he's pulling up possibly close to 6. He's got 7, so cruise missile is now in favor for them as well. It will be utilized. That's great information, and also going to clear out a bit more of the site, and this has put them in a great position, 20 to 16, and they've unfortunately lost points.
Wow, that kill from Echo was huge. That was a huge kill from Echo, but unfortunately here comes a cruise missile on the return from Fusion, but it doesn't hit. A waste of a cruise missile. You can, if this map goes to overtime, that could be it. That could be something that comes back to bite you in the end.
It could indeed, but you can see they are slowly capturing again. Vogue sitting on the edge of Cubby, so that's going to be a little bit of ticks going, trying to add the pressure. We're around the corner, it's not going to be successful. JC and Godly die. Vogue still going, but now he will fall to Smith. Inside, it's going to be mayhem, as they will still trade back and forth. 10 to 15 in favor of Cabal, and they've also nearly got second tick as well. Fusion from a long distance getting that kill, and now the site is open once again. They're probably going to stack here. Well, no, they're going to only put one on. Confirmed B. Try and set themselves up before they put another in. 2 now on point, as they are going to go over Dumpster. Fusion putting them in the blender. There's not much to do. Cabal will take them up and take the entire series.
Cabal kind of completely just lined them up there at the end like dominoes and really just laid it on them to end the series in a really unfortunate way to go out. If you're on the side of Future Forge, you had some good moments, you had some great pushes, had some great plays, but at the end of the day, it's just not enough.
3-0 sweep. Quite dominant indeed, especially when it's that strong as well. Future Forge came back at the end, definitely showed a bit more of themselves on control, but the first 2 maps really was nothing going their way.
Yeah, the first 2 maps. Well, you know, Hyper, I'm gonna take a minute and sort of disagree with you a little bit on Vista. I think Vista, they had something going, at least from that first hardpoint rotation. Both sides were pretty clear and pretty even, I'd say. I think it was like 104 to 115 back when you go to P1. So we saw promise from the side of Future, especially on those modes where you know, you have respawn, but then you go to the side of no respawns at all, like search and destroy. That's when things start to get hot. And that's when Cabal kind of secured their positioning and got on fire a little bit. So I'm not going to say that Future Forge didn't really have too much leading up to it. I just think that their modes are more respawn modes, and they really just got to work on those non-respawn modes like search and destroy.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, when you break it down like that, yeah, I agree. Of course, first half of the Vista was even. I just lost it a little bit at the end. Wasn't able to get those rotations and hold them down. But yeah, the control, that for that side, really close, really impactful. But yeah, that search and destroy, it was just aggression that made them lose quite often. They were pushing fast, and they eventually, Cabal was able to capitalize on this aggressive play, because if you do it all the time and not change the tempo, it becomes predictable. So I see that there is potential for sure, but unfortunately, Future Forge unable to capitalize and really take advantage of their good strategies, and Cabal doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, that was a great job on the side of Cabal. I hope they, you know, take the rest of the night, the rest of the weekend to celebrate, but definitely got to go back to the drawing board a little bit when it comes to control, work on their pushes a little bit more, and work on their strategic positioning on the map, and sort of prioritize some good plays, especially in the map rotation of Karachi, because unfortunately to Hyperactive, it is going to be a map that I think a lot of teams are going to opt for when you get into control. But with that being said, that is all from us at the desk here for Zoned Out Gaming, the Zoned Out Gaming League. We do, again, I can't stress this enough, apologize for how the viewing experience was a little bit skewed with the team names being switched and the scores being switched, but above everything, I think it was still not bad for a series. Obviously, it's a sweep. You hate to see the sweep, but one thing that I like to point out too is that you see a lot of COD teams. It's really easy to get to a position where mentally you kind of check out, and that's not really what Future Forge did at all throughout the entire series. So props to them for that. Props to all the players and the watchers at home. We appreciate your constant support. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic night and an even better weekend.